I see climate change as a complete and total existential threat and peril to even, possibly even to the sustainability of life on Earth. We currently have an environmental protection agency, which is run by an ex-chemical company lobbyist, and the guy before him was an ex-oil company executive. First thing that would happen is a world-class environmentalist would be placed in charge of the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Everybody who runs counter to actual environmental protection no longer has a job there, and we would attract the most world-class environmental scientists and experts on sustainability, green technology, et cetera, to come work for the Environmental Protection Agency. We would immediately go back to the days when the Clean Air Act was robust, the Clean Water Act was robust, et cetera. When it comes to the things that need to be done over the next 12 years in order to get the carbon out of the atmosphere, in order to sequester it in the ground, all of the things that we need to do to get off fossil fuels, to develop green, sustainable technology. We have the people in this country, and we have people around the world who know what to do. And they would have in me, a president that says, do it. You have the full force and power of the executive branch of the U.S. government. Go.
You'd be, if you won, you'd be the first woman president of America. Is there a particular leadership style that you think a woman president would bring in that might be unique, new, different?
Well, I'm sure that you would agree with me. When it comes to enlightened leadership, which really is a feminization process, I see circumstances where men practice those principles even more than some women do. So I don't think that of itself is so much gender. I think bringing the feminine values to the fore. Sometimes women do that, sometimes they don't. Sometimes men do that, and sometimes they don't. So I don't want to make too much about that. I do think, however, that the fact that I'm a woman makes my concentration on the well-being of women and girls much stronger than it would be were I a man. I think we need a U.S. Department of Childhood and Youth because of the unbelievable risk of so many millions of American children who live in chronic trauma. We need wraparound services, we need anti-trauma training, we need restorative justice, we need conflict resolution, anti-bullying in our schools in such a way that too often has been treated as peripheral issues when in my administration would be seen as core.
And the final question. People know you for this quote. It's one of the most cited quotes in the world. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. What does that mean to you?
You know, it's so funny. That paragraph is just part of a book. It's not a special section. It's not a poem. It's such a strange thing that it's been singled out. I mean, I'm honored. But what it means, that book is Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. You and I, there's really on a spiritual level no place where you stop and I start. And my ego mind, and all the ego is a false belief that we're separate. It doesn't want me to see that. And it says, no, don't go there, don't go there, don't allow yourself to fall into the oneness. Because the ego mind knows that that's the death of the ego. So we're afraid of the light more than we're afraid of this little comfort zone of playing small. That's what it means to me. And I believe that what spiritual practice does for us is it opens us up to the realization that all things are possible. And that you're dwelling, Emily Dickinson said, I dwell in possibility. Dwelling in the idea that all things are possible is the safe place to be, not the dangerous place to be. Dwelling in the place that we're all here just to love each other is the safe place to be, not the dangerous place to be. The ego mind says, oh, it's going to all be dangerous if I allow myself to just love everybody. It's going to be dangerous if I go around thinking anything's possible. But really, that's the only safe place to be. That's what that means to me.